Let's talk about John Rawls, our philosopher, and our author, Michael Sandel. He's an expert in John Rawls, so he devoted a lot of material to explain John Rawls' ideas, right? So he is an American philosopher, and American philosophy never has been the center of philosophy until the 20th century. The mainstream was always the continental philosophy, like German philosophy, but John Rawls he was a 20th American philosopher and he revived moral philosophy. At this time, because it's modern time, he survived until 2002. Moral philosophy was not the concern for the major philosophers because they thought that moral philosophy was rather old-fashioned. What is good? What is a good life? Well, aren't those subjects talked by ancient Greek philosophers like Plato and Aristotle? Like in the modern time, there are other like more meticulous and complex and complicated stuff that we need to discuss. But then he brought the moral philosophy back into the center, and then he showed to people that philosophy and real life issues are very closely linked and undetachable. Yes, I like John Rawls very much. Okay, yeah. So John Rawls, he really wanted to show the process of coming up with the just rules for everybody. And then he thought that if we were to come up with the just rules in the real world, everybody has their personal interests and everybody wants to pursue different set of, self-interest. So it's very hard to come upon a agreement. So he thought of this thought experiment called the veil of ignorance. So he thought that in this imaginary situation, so let's say we are at the original position. Yeah, and then we are like the babies in the heaven waiting to be born, and then there is like a curtain that is right in front of us, so we can't really see what's going on, and then we don't really know who we are gonna be, and then what kind of abilities and what kind of talents we're gonna have. We don't know which family we're gonna be born into, so we are at the original position. So we are basically behind a veil of ignorance. And let's imagine ourselves as those babies, but we have this full intellectual capacity as of now. So in the original position behind the veil of ignorance, if we were to devise the most fair rule for society, what would that be? Yeah. And then Rawls claimed that it would definitely not be utilitarianism. Utilitarianism tries to maximize the wealth, maximize the happiness of overall society, but at the expense of the minority. But in the original position, we don't really know whether we'd be part of minority or majority. It's totally possible that we could born into the minority group, right? And we don't want our rights to be expensed and sacrificed for the benefit of the majority. So behind a veil of ignorance, we would not pick utilitarianism as the governing rule, as the just rule for society. Yeah, and then John Rawls also thought that we wouldn't also pick meritocracy, because when we are born, we aren't really sure whether we would be born with talents, whether we would have any kind of artistic ability or athletic ability or academic ability. So if we pick meritocratic rule as the governing rule of society, we might be at great disadvantage. So if all of us, we have to use our power of imagination, and then we have to put ourselves into the original position, then John Rawls thought that people would agree on two rules to govern society. And the number one rule is that people are going to agree on basic human rights, human rights for the right for freedom of speech, and then the right to free thought, and the right to have health, and the right to have a shelter, and like right to have a decent, at least like basic level of living. So under the behind a veil of ignorance, people are going to create a society, create rules that are going to ensure and guarantee basic human rights. That is the number one rule that people are going to agree on behind a veil of ignorance. Yeah, that's what he thought. Okay, yeah. And then the society has gone through a lot of evolutions and then transformations, and we're living in a meritocracy, 능력주의. We are rewarded based on our ability and talents. And to to figure out why John Rawls has a problem with meritocracy, so let's go through all of the evolutions of society. So in the beginning, we started with the feudal society, right? There's a king, and then the nobility and the knights, and then there are slaves at the bottom. And definitely, this is wrong. This is not fair because once we are born into society in this world, our places are determined. And then it's not changed. So we are being rewarded uh, by a caste type of system. Yeah, no matter how much we work, we're not going to be rewarded for that. Yeah, so people started a revolution, and then now we're living from the 18th century or the 19th century. It's transformed into a capitalist society, capitalist or libertarian society, because people's freedom is respected. So, but in libertarian society, maybe like we're somewhere in between libertarian society or fair meritocracy. Yeah, I think we're somewhere like around here or here, like somewhere in between, not exactly where though. Yeah, in libertarian society, um, I mean, we we don't have the birthright any longer. So we're not born to be slaves or the kings or nobility. We can definitely make efforts, but there are still inequalities because people from privileged background, they can get better education, and people from underprivileged background, it's likely that they won't be able to seek education and won't get very far. So we can see the inequalities here. And that's why modern governments try to correct the ills of capitalist or libertarian society by, you know, uh, by you coming up with these governmental programs such as Head Start. Head Start is an American program that assists children from impoverished background, give them better teachers, and then give them better tutors. That's the Head Start program. So basically, it's all about giving the equal opportunity and then making the starting line all the same. Yeah. So here, the starting line, libertarian societies, the starting line is different, but then these are the attempts to make the starting line equal. Yeah. And then like, even if you are from a underprivileged background, wow, what's going on with this? Yeah. So I guess I'll need to hold on to this really tightly. Yeah. So even if he's not from a wealthy background, he's like given the laptops by the government and like tutors and then the online courses and computers and all the learning resources so that he can compete on the equal ground from the same starting point. Yeah. Isn't this good enough? Isn't this fair enough if we give everybody the equal opportunity to learn and then compete? So most people think so, but Michael Sandels, for some reason, seems to have a problem with that. He thinks that so all the ills of capitalist society has been corrected and revised, and let's move into a fair meritocracy. In fair meritocracy, everybody is rewarded by their talent. Yeah, but then we cannot deny that even if you were given the same opportunity, same books, and same computers, and same tutors, and same education, some people are just born with better natural talents, and some people are just like born with less natural talents, right? So he seems to have a problem with that. Okay, so why Rawls thinks that meritocracy is still unfair? It's probably because you know so I see this as a teacher. I have seen this. I have taught more than like 15 years now, and then I see some students working really, really hard. So they're so disciplined. They're very diligent and hardworking, and then the scores or the results that they get are below their expectation, below the level of their, exertion. But then there's some kids, they're just like born with the natural talent. So they make less effort, a lot less effort, maybe half the effort, but then their scores are always good and superb. Yeah. And then look at this picture. Yeah. So there are the two runners, and then the starting point is the same, and they have the same coaches, and then they have the same practices, and they go through the same routine every day. But still, the level of natural talent is like so different, right? And we are so used to this idea, oh yeah, this guy is better, this guy is a better runner, and then this guy is a slow runner, and then he's smarter and he is dumb, and that's why he is getting the rewards, and he's getting into better colleges and getting the better jobs and houses and cars. I mean, this guy getting paid $30 million for his salary. Oh, that's just fair, right? That because everybody is awarded according to his talent. Yeah. But Ross is suggesting that, well, if we distribute our resources and our wealth and opportunities based on natural talent is not that we worked hard for. Natural talent is like arbitrary. It was randomly given to us. It's not our own doing. It was not our own exertion. But distributing the good in society based on, like such arbitrary elements and then random elements, that is unfair. That's what he is suggesting. Yeah. And then there are criticisms to this as well. Some people could say that, hey, it's not their success is not only thanks to their natural talent. These people made their efforts, made a lot of efforts. This guy, when this guy was eating Coke and cheese fries, he worked every day. Yeah. And then this guy, he worked every single day when this guy was watching YouTube and whatnot. Yeah. Well, let's say that these people, more successful people, made more efforts for, but Michael Sandel says that even the willingness to make efforts, even the propensity to make efforts, actually that is arbitrarily, randomly given by luck. Yeah. For example, uh, so there is a scientific study that the firstborns, 첫째, in families, they tend to be more hardworking, and they tend to have higher income, and they tend to have better academic results. So let's just take a poll here. How many of you are firstborn in your families? Firstborn. Yeah. Okay. Oh yeah, four people, 4 out of 5. Yeah, even in this classroom. I mean, this classroom is for very, for students who have achieved a lot. I mean, to have this kind of English proficiency, you must have worked hard, right? Even in this classroom, 4 out of 5 people are firstborns. Did you work hard to be firstborn in your family? Was it by your choice? No, it was by pure luck, right? So Michael Sandel seems to suggest that, well, even the willingness to work harder, even our propensity for discipline, that is determined by luck. That is not determined by our efforts, right? And then I am also a firstborn in my family. And then I always thought that, oh, 내가 열심히 했으니까 내가 대원외고도 가고 내가 미국 대학교도 가고 장학금도 받고 다 내 덕이야. That's what I thought. 난 열심히 하는 사람이니까. But then I thought that even my willingness to work hard was actually luckily given to me because I had good role models. Both my mom and both my dad, they were really hardworking. So I learned from them, learned from their attitude. I mean, although they were not super rich or anything. And then my mom, she always read me books from when I was very little. So from that, I, developed this liking for books, which by chance in modern society tends to give us advantage, economically. But think of the primitive society, like 20,000 years ago, 원시인 사회. If anybody liked, like studying and then like really weak and just like sitting around with that kind of person, given an advantage, like the fact that we're living in a society where academic ability is given recognition, we cannot control when we are gonna born. We cannot control whether we're gonna born into 21st century or 19th century or 17th century. Like think of Michael Jordan. Michael Jordan has the amazing ability to jump really high, and then like he has that flexibility. But 200 years ago, 300 years ago, well, would he have been able to earn $30 million out of that ability? But just the fact that we're born into the time period where we are getting recognized for our special set of skills, that is like pure luck, and that's natural lottery. That's what Michael Sandel seems to be suggesting. Like many of us take pride in the things that we have achieved. Oh, I have done this, I have done this, but that actually, if we were to break down into little pieces, they tend to come from arbitrary sources, and not really from our own exertion or efforts. Yeah. And then there was this dystopian tale called Harrison Ferguson that was introduced in Michael Sandel book. Do you guys remember what there was? What kind of society is it that Harrison Ferguson describes everybody?
Talented.
Yeah, the talented people. They're a handicap, right? So let's say, so that in that future society, equality, that is the most important thing. So let's say if you're a especially beautiful person, you have to wear these thick glasses, and then you have to like cover your face with mud so that you're gonna look ugly. And then if you are extra smart, then you're gonna put on this headphone that can distract you so you can be dumber, and then like you can be at the level of equality, right? That's the future dystopian society. Is that it's like handicapping the talented? Is that what Michael Sandel was trying to? No, not Michael Sandel. Was Ross trying to say? Probably not. And actually, John Ross, he allowed for inequality. Okay, inequality is okay. Michael Jordan getting $31 million per year, 300, 300억 in Korean won, is okay. Yeah, but only with one condition. And this is the principle. It was a very original thinking, very unique theory, or rule that he developed for his theory. Difference principle. Yeah. So difference principle does not try to handicap the talented. It recognizes the fact that some people are more talented. Yeah, and some people have more capacity, but with only one condition. It allows for inequality when that inequality benefits the least advantaged in society. For example, let's say there's a wonderful scientist. He is so gifted and he's such a genius, and then getting a lot of money for his talent and getting amply compensated for his ability. That's okay. Yeah, otherwise, if he is not compensated enough for his ability, he will lose motivation. He will lose incentive to work harder and harder, right? And develop his ability. Well, that itself is fine. But when his work, when he develops new medicine, and then when his work reaches into the most remote places and the lowest places in the country, then it's okay. So inequality is only allowed when that inequality benefits everybody in society, especially the worst off in society. That was the difference principle. Yeah, and then in terms of Michael Jordan, it's okay that he gets $30 million per year, but because his talent, I guess like some of it is from his own efforts, but most of it is from what he was born with. It's like he earned a natural lottery. So Ross thinks that his talent, it's like a common asset. Yeah, it's like a shared luck. He cannot just like take all the luck privately to himself, but some of it has to be shared with society. Well, that's why some people believe in progressive tax rates. So people like billionaires and like multi-billionaires, higher rate of taxes applied. That's the type of distributive justice Michael Sandel, John Ross believes in. Yeah. Okay. Let's look at affirmative action. Hey guys, what is affirmative action? Please explain it to the teacher. What is it? Affirmative action. It's giving the advantages to minority students, right, in terms of college admissions or when you're hired for a job. Yeah. And then affirmative actions have been practiced in America for a pretty long time on three grounds. The first ground is test scores. They do not like exactly reflect the student's academic merit because like, let's there is like a person who has gone through a lot of private education, like private tutoring and like everything. Then another person who just only got the public education. I mean, the academic merit, like ability, could be similar, but the test scores would probably be a lot higher for people who got a lot of private education. So that is the first ground. And then the second ground is to correct the past wrongs that society has done to minorities such as blacks and Latinos, because there is a long history of discrimination, and because of that, black people, they were enslaved and they're still at economic disadvantage. Most of them are living in impoverished parts of the country. So to correct the past mistakes and past wrongs, they are giving advantage to those students. And the third reason is that, I mean, universities, like according to them, universities are not just for, uh, you know, rewarding students with academic merit. Universities are preparing these students for future diverse democratic society. So one of the university's role is the civil role, to teach them the diversity and that think from other people's perspectives. I mean, like if you were to pick the students only based on merit, probably half of them with Asians. Yeah, like Chinese or Koreans or Japanese, because they have this, culture, like driving their students like really hard on the test, right? Half of them would be, Asian, and probably 40% would be white, and only like 10% would be Latinos and black people. And then if students learned in that kind of environment, would they be able to grow this ability to think from diverse perspectives? I mean, that's the university's claim. Right? University is not just for giving knowledge, but this is a place where it has where there is civic responsibility to prepare students to become responsible citizens who have diversity in their viewpoint. Yeah, so these are some of the grounds that affirmative action has been practiced. But there are definitely criticism. Yeah, let's say that you're the white guy, you're the white girl. Or let's say because we are Korean, there's so many Korean students, they get rejected from prestigious Ivy League schools just because we are from Korea, although we have higher scores than blacks and Latinos. And definitely it could feel really, really unfair. Hey, my SAT scores, I got perfect SAT score, and that kid, that black kid, he has a lot lower than score than my wife. Why did he get accepted, and why not me? We could file a lawsuit. Why are you discriminating against me just because I'm Asian? We could do that, right? But the college and the magazine, it's saying that, well, if you're claiming so, then you're misunderstanding the the purpose of a university. The purpose of a university is the is college admissions purpose is not to reward students on their academic merit only, and it can define its admissions process and then the criteria of admission depending on the mission and social mission that they believe in. So if, let's say, if Harvard University believes that their mission in society is not only for educational research or educational advancement, but also for diverse society, then according to their mission, they can decide on the criteria of their admissions, right? Oh yeah. So in my senior year in high school, only one kid got accepted to Harvard University. And then there were so many other kids who had better scores. I had a better score than her. Yeah, but then she was from a very remote island. And then she had that, unique upbringing, right? And that was one of the main factors why she got accepted to Harvard University. So like some of the kids in my class in my senior year, they started, why did she get accepted? And now that I think about it again, it's understandable, right? Yeah, they wanted to bring a lot of different people and diverse, people, and then make a diverse and vibrant student body, right? Okay. Um. Then some people could say that, okay, then can university decide on any kind of mission that they believe in, and can university decide on any kind of admissions criteria that they want? Okay, then I guess people can contribute with their academic ability or artistic ability, athletic ability, or even their diversity. Then can people contribute with their financial ability as well? Wealth, because that's also considered a type of ability. Because if university gets a lot of donation, then it can use that money for research purposes and scholarships as well. Yeah, Michael Sando thinks that well, you cannot just so here is when you need to consider the purpose of the university. Yeah, I mean, like, the purpose of the university depends on how the school decides it be, but it cannot. Oh, okay, it can be for, educational purposes, civic purposes, and so on, but it cannot for making money. University does not exist to make money. It's not for profit, right? So I mean, if it was a rock concert or musical concert ticket, then it can be auctioned off to the highest bidder. Oh, I'm gonna pay 10원, I'm gonna pay 100원, I'm gonna make 200원. Okay, highest bidder, you get in. You can do that if it's just like commercial, ordinary good. But university is a place that is not, its main purpose is not to make profits. That's why Michael Sando believes it's wrong to trade it just like any other commercial good. Yeah, because like the right getting education, and then like being shaped into a responsible citizen, um, that is also very related to our basic rights as well. So something that is related with our basic rights, we cannot trade it as common properties, common commodities. Yeah, that's what Michael Sando thought. Yeah, okay. So let's go ahead and then let's summarize our ideas for 1 minute. Oh, we haven't decided on our order, so I'm gonna just like do it randomly, everybody. Where is it? Oh yeah, please. Okay. So 민서, 주경, 지안이, 서진이, 지민이. Okay. 주경이 is the first person. Okay. So 주경이 is gonna go ahead. And then Jiminy is the second person. Yeah. 서진이 is the third person. Yeah. Okay. 지연이 is and then 주연진, 선예호, 민서. Yeah. Well, let's not do it now, but let's do it after we watch Michael Sando